Welcome everyone. I'm really excited that I get to spend a little bit of time with you tonight. I'm really honored that you've joined me, and I'm excited to share how I discovered ASEA and the journey that I went on, which has brought me to the position that I'm at right now. I'm of course Melissa Kotter, and I live on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, and I'm going to get straight into sharing my story, and I hope that by the end of it you're able to make an educated decision on what you think of ASEA and be inspired to look more into ASEA and discover your truth in ASEA and what it represents for you. So maybe you can relate to my story. I started out my corporate career in my early 20s for a pharmaceutical company, SmithKline Beecham, and I was a pharmaceutical rep. I loved the autonomy, but at the time I didn't have a fallback position financially, and so that meant I was very much in that, what's the word? I had stars in my eyes when it came to a company car and great income that I'd never received before at that point in my life. And so even though I wasn't a huge pharmaceutical user really at all, and don't get me wrong, there is completely a place for pharmaceuticals, I just realized that my ego decision to join a pharmaceutical company, which was out of alignment with my values and who I am, ended up costing me a fair bit of time and money regaining my health when I ended up in this hospital in Sydney, Australia, where a nurse was going to administer me with a drug I was selling in the field. I'd had a swelling of my brain and the meninges around my brain due to something I'd picked up in the doctor's surgeries or hospitals, who knows where I was visiting for my work. And when she wanted to administer me with this drug, I absolutely knew with certainty, because I understood the pharmacology of it and how it worked in my body, I wouldn't be able to walk out of the hospital again. So what I did is I was in the bed and I said, okay, I'm going to make an agreement. If I can walk out of here, I will promise I'll commit the rest of my life to educating people about taking a more proactive approach to their health. So this led me into finding a business partner where we co-founded and co-owned 3 chiropractic clinics in far north Queensland. And I absolutely loved being an entrepreneur. I was in my mid-20s and enjoyed the patients, just loved everything about it. The challenge was I was stuck in an office, and even though it was very fulfilling, I really was on a mission to find the foundation of health so it could sort of honor that promise, but also I was on a mission where I could find a platform where I could serve more and grow more and become more as a human being in the process. So I went back to university and studied an MBA, and 3/4 of the way through that MBA at James Cook University, a patient approached me in the clinic and told me about the network marketing profession. And at first, I've got to say, I remember thinking, oh gosh, what will people think of me? Because I've studied all these years and I'm going to come out and do network marketing. And I was pretty much, I had issues around it, let's put it that way. And then I took the time one day to stand back and realize that the chiropractic clinics that we've been building, at the time in Australia, we were not allowed to advertise or promote or market the clinics at all because of the Australian Medical Association at the time. So the clinics were successfully built on one principle alone when it came to a marketing strategy, and it was word of mouth. And so the more I thought that I was already doing it, I just wasn't getting paid for it at the time when it came to globally. It made sense. It still took me a little bit of time to get used to, but it made sense. And that's when I completely jumped into this profession back in 1999. And that profession served me so well, because this timing's a bit off on this slide. Sorry, it's not supposed to say I never looked back there, but the timing of being able to have that business model served me so well, because my husband Bart and I had some legal challenges that kept us full-time pretty much at our lawyer's office and in court for over 12.5 years. And we were unable to work during that time. And thanks to this profession and residual income, where we'd make money regardless of what was happening in our lives, basically, we were able to pay the legal bills. We were able to not miss a beat in our lives. And how incredibly fortunate were we to be able to be in that situation at that time. Just reinforced the fact that we'd picked the right profession and made the right decision. But everything we had done up until finding ASEA had paled in comparison to the fact that we have absolutely never looked back when it comes to what this company stands for, who they are as people, the uniqueness and profound effectiveness of ASEA products, and the ability for all of us to look at ASEA as a vehicle to be able to achieve anything we want out of life, basically. So let me take you on that journey. So my first decision was to take charge of my health, and I knew that it had to start with me. I wasn't going to hand over responsibility of my health to anyone after the experience that I'd had. So I was on a mission to find the foundation of health, which I mentioned. Knowing what you don't want in life is a really fantastic gift because it helps to guide you toward and more in the direction of what you truly do want in life. So I knew what I didn't want, and I definitely wanted to, as I mentioned, take a more proactive approach to educating people about health and away from the sick care model. Here's an interesting quote from an amazing woman, Dr. Maureen Hayes. She's an anesthesiologist and a pain medicine doctor in the United States. This is so true what she's quoted as saying, most people don't actually consider their health until it's gone. So it's the choices we make today that are going to determine the level of our wellness and our health and our healthy longevity tomorrow. Because health, a lot of us take for granted, but it is a gift and it has to be earned and worked at for us to be able to have this healthy longevity tomorrow. So when you break it down, okay, we know we're supposed to have a great balanced diet, exercise, get plenty of rest, take time out for us, meditate, go and create some space where we can get together with our thoughts and go within. You've probably heard the expression, if you don't go within, you go without. We know we should be drinking really phenomenal water. The list goes on, and this is a really phenomenal start. Of course, we need to be doing this. Not all of us are perfect. I'm certainly not. But the problem is it enough? And when you look at the number of untested chemicals that are applied to our food from the food processing industry, where these chemicals are unregulated, untested, and allowed to just run rampant through our food, you've got to question the challenge that causes to our health. The air we breathe is polluted, our soils are polluted and depleted, I should say, of really essential trace minerals that our body can't create, that we have to get from our food, and it can't come from the soils that we've got, particularly in Australia right now. We live in a toxic world, and the list goes on and on and on. So this all actually leads, believe it or not, to our genes being turned off. That's a huge problem when the genes are turned off, because the messaging is just not the quality that it should be, because it's missing often in many cases. You might be surprised to know that on average 287 chemicals were found in umbilical cords of newborn babies in this study in the United States. The average consumers exposed to 127 chemicals a day that they put on their skin. And that's not even the beginning when it comes to what people are injecting, particularly women these days, into their skin. So busy lifestyle too. A lot of people are prone to emotional eating. And what happens when it comes to our health is people are digging their graves with their forks by making food choices based on instant gratification and food addictions. And often this is because people just they're too busy, or they're just not in harmony with living a life of their choosing and designing it their way. So they turn to food addictions, etc., as an avoidance strategy. Now, the reason why this impacts our health phenomenally, other than the obvious with obesity, is the gastrointestinal tract is our second brain. Psychoneuroimmunologists have proven this for many, many years, and we take care of our gut, it takes care of our brain. So we're also rapidly aging. So why is that? And where do you start? What really is the foundation of health? And there's so much information out there and so many directions you can go into, or you can go toward, and paths you can go down, where you may relate to this image that I have here. It's like blah, blah, blah. It's like, I just can't take any more in. I just don't know anymore. That's why when I take you through the rest of this presentation, trust your instincts and judgments and find your truth through this process, as I mentioned earlier, because I've found mine, as I'll discover, because ASEA really did open my eyes. And although I was definitely aware of what I didn't want, I was resistant at the beginning because I was just desensitized from try this, do that, all those types of things, until ASEA, because ASEA became the missing piece of my puzzle that helped me truly to take care of my health. And this is why. So everything that you consume, apply to your skin and breathe in, it has a direct impact at the cellular level on your cells, because all disease states, everything, all disease, it starts at the cellular level. And we actually live and we die at the cellular level. So it's the quality of our cells' health that determines how healthy we are on the outside and how much energy we have throughout the day. So I had that paradigm shift because I realized the cells, we need to take care of the cells. They're the foundation of our health. And I'm not, as you could imagine, interested in long-term symptomatic care and band-aids to just mask symptoms. So that's another reason why I see it, when I discovered the science behind it and took the time to learn a little bit more, why I realized why it truly is such a foundational technology that addresses and influences our health on every single level. Because we have 75 plus trillion cells in our bodies. Those cells combine together to form tissues, which form organs, which form systems, and that makes us uniquely who we are. So when our cells are healthy, we're healthy, as I mentioned. And when they're in trouble and they're lacking communication and they're screaming out for help, then typically over time, we're not going to be as healthy as we want to be. So this made sense to me because when you look at this image on the left-hand side, you can see that an unhealthy cell has a damaged membrane, its structure and functions damaged to the point that only some nutrients can get in. And what's also an issue is when a cell is in this distressed state, only some waste products can get out, versus the healthy cell on the right-hand side where the membrane's great, nutrients get in and waste products get out. Now, cells are damaged by toxins, those toxins I've just mentioned, which cause inflammation. Inflammation damages our cells. Viruses, infections, bacteria, and free radicals that attack the cells in a really big way, which cause communication between cells and to these damaged cells to be inhibited. That's why ASEA, the company, is the global leader in the cellular health industry. They're a category creating company who have cornered the market when it comes to cellular health specific to redox technology, which I'll share some more about with you in just a second. So the idea is to restore cellular communication to your cells. The way that that happens is through these amazing molecules called redox signaling molecules. They have a profound job in the body, and they're actually created in the power plant cells of our body. And it's called the mitochondria, and the mitochondria's job is to produce energy for us, extremely important. It produces ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Without it, we can't function. And without these molecules that are a byproduct of the process of creating energy in our bodies, you wouldn't be alive in the next couple of slides because of how vitally crucial these molecules are foundationally to our health. These molecules are amazing because they've been scientifically proven. You can get more information on that at aseascience.com, to detect damaged cells, to protect those cells, to then make a decision with the neighboring cells. Do we repair this cell? Is it worth repairing, or is it too far gone and we've got to replace it? And they're also responsible for activating antioxidants. Now, antioxidants are responsible for going after and gobbling up the free radicals that are causing that real stress and damage to the cells. Without the activation of the antioxidants, they're useless. And that's the job of these redox signaling molecules. They're also responsible for immune system communication. So viruses and bacteria attack the immune system. When people's immunity is low, it's typically because their communication cell to cell is breaking down, and these molecules are responsible for activating, or so I should say, immune system communication and boosting it by over 500%, or actually in some cases more. I'd mentioned before that toxins and all the challenges that I gave you a visual representation of, the list goes on, they turn off genes. These molecules help to switch genes back on. So they are profound. This truly, truly is a breakthrough. So when you can imagine when the communication at the foundational cellular level is repaired, then your cells, tissue, organ systems and you are operating at such a higher level of vitality with your life. Here's a quote from an organic chemist, Dr. Kurt Stickley. Without these cell signaling molecules, we simply would not have immune protection from various bacteria. We wouldn't have gene replication that we need, DNA sequencing that we need. So even though it seems like a small piece, these redox signaling molecules interact throughout the body with every cell that we know. That's how profound they are. So how did ASEA manage to bottle essentially these highly fleeting molecules that turn back into salt water in the body within a millionth of a second if they're not harnessed and they're not used straight away? So you can imagine how impossible it's been, given the nature of these molecules, for scientists to stabilize these molecules outside the body. After many, many years, ASEA scientists have managed to do that. And they do it across this 3-step, 3-day patented process where they take pristine salt water, the same that's found inside our cells, so the same environment. Then they break the salt water down into free-floating atoms of sodium, chloride, hydrogen and oxygen. And the heavily patent process where the magic happens is when these atoms are specifically restructured into stabilized redox signaling molecules. And it's all thanks to this gentleman, Dr. Gary Samuelson, who led the team of scientists to this miraculous breakthrough. And he said this technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we have ever seen. And we are seeing that. Universities are developing new wings and opening laboratories that are dedicated to studying redox signaling molecules, redox biochemistry. So they managed to be able to stabilize trillions of these molecules in this liquid format of ASEA. So this represents taking care of your cells, your cellular health from the inside out. Now, BioAgilytics is a company that is a laboratory in the United States. They work with the majority of top pharmaceutical companies globally for quality control. And they actually test a batch of every single, of ASEA. They test that consistently to make sure that there are in fact trillions of these stabilized molecules in every batch, every bottle essentially of ASEA. And that's really important for us to know that we're backed by that scientific confidence, because the product is absolute quality and you get what you pay for. And then after 5 years, people were spraying, during the 5-year period after the molecules were released, people were spraying them on their skin and noticing really amazing results. So after 5 years, ASEA figured out a way which was pretty amazing in itself, because you can't mix anything with these molecules. As I said, they're highly fleeting. They were able to do it with some very simple ingredients to create Renew 28. Healthy skin cells renew themselves every 28 days. And this is when ASEA started to transition into really taking care of cellular health from the outside in by addressing it. So they also then went on and developed support products that both enhance the reception of the molecules onto our skin and the effectiveness and to maintain the stabilization of these molecules on our skin through a cleanser, a moisturizer, and an even more heavily concentrated gel, topical gel that you can put on spots on your skin. A lot of people have had phenomenal results with spots that shouldn't be on their skin that just somehow drop off. So anyway, the product range is the only redox signaling skincare range that you can find anywhere in the world. In fact, you can't find the molecules anywhere in the world outside your body other than in ASEA's technology. The products, as you might really want to know, are completely safe, non-toxic, and they're native to the body. If you don't know really what that term means, which in the beginning I didn't, I was thinking everything was natural. It means that when we apply these molecules or ingest these molecules, apply them to our skin, then the body knows to put them to work straight away, because it doesn't have to convert these molecules into anything else for it to be able to recognize, to be able to put it to work. So of course these products are cruelty-free, no sulfates, no nasty stuff. If you'd like a list of ingredients, get together with the person who invited you to the webinar and they'll be able to give you that if you so wish. It's a heavily patented, protected technology as well. So I mentioned I had to find my truth in all this. So I started with some due diligence, and it struck me as being really quite important to understand what professionals who have credibility, who have a reputation on the line, were saying about redox. So redox signaling molecules are absolutely crucial to maintain peak efficiency in cell function. Every cell in our body needs these molecules for communication purposes, and the more balanced and abundant they are, the healthier we are. This is a quote by Dr. Robertson Ward. Dr. Dick Walker is an emergency room physician. He said, "We will look back on this decade and see it as the beginning of molecular medicine. Redox deficiency is behind every major disease and illness that mankind suffers." And the First Lady of Nutrition, Anne Louise Gittleman, she said, "ASEA, in my humble estimation, is the greatest advance in lifestyle medicine, which harnesses the power of your own body to keep you well." So knowing that they've put their credibility on the line, that they're speaking out with absolute passion about their understanding and perspective of these molecules, really boosted my confidence to know that I needed to find out more. It might also be good for you to know that there's over 160,000 studies that have been published in peer-reviewed articles and medical journals on redox signaling molecules, redox biochemistry. Over 1,200 books have been written. And as I mentioned, Harvard, Johns Hopkins and Cornell universities in the United States have opened a new Center for Molecular Signaling. So I'm going to transition into showing you some before and after photographs and talking more about the technology. So just as a disclaimer, this presentation is not a substitute for any independent professional advice. Nothing contained within is intended to be used as medical advice at all. ASEA's products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. Here's some photos of a lady named Nina. She was suffering with this very obvious skin condition for 5 years. It was itchy. It was not only embarrassing to go out in public with, but it really caused a lot of discomfort for her. And so last year on March 8th, she started to apply redox signaling molecules to her skin and take ASEA internally, ingest it, drink it. You can see the amazing results. And like I said, for 5 years, she couldn't get results with this particular situation. March 10th, you can see that the redness has cooled down a lot. You can see that it's starting to dissipate. And 8 days later, from when she started on the technology, you can see this amazing transformation. So you could just imagine emotionally what that's been able to do in terms of boosting Nina's confidence, but also knowing that she's not in a situation where she's uncomfortable and suffering. Thanks to these molecules. Here's some before and after photographs of good old wrinkles. I said healthy skin cells renew themselves every 28 days. Well, over the age of 50, that slows down dramatically by months and months. And so given that this lady Ray Doon, you can see after 21 days, these top photos are before photos, and after 21 days, the bottom photos of application of the gel. You can see the very profound anti-aging situation with Ray Doon, often hormonal situation with younger people with irritation and redness on the skin, and also with the improvement after only 21 days with these molecules to wrinkles. So the thing is, take your before photographs and take regular after photographs week or so apart, so you can see your change and notice your difference. Now, skin cell renewal is increased by 16%. So that's why it's so it cuts it down actually from 28 days to even shorter period of time, thanks to the 16% increase in skin cell renewal, which gives that really vibrant and radiant glow to the skin. 49% increase in blood flow 15 minutes after the first application of this Redox Gel Renew 28 on the skin, which is profound because blood carries nutrients into the cell, and it also transports nutrients. It also takes toxins away from cells and out of cells. So that increase is really profound. 23% improvement. These are all conducted these studies independently from world leading dermatological laboratories. In effect with these statistics, it was Dermatest, a company in Germany. You can see 23% increase in smoothness, 23% improvement, I should say, in wrinkle depth, and also 20% improvement in elasticity. So if one of your reasons for taking a look at ASEA's range of technology is to look and feel younger, you can see these results are definitely, they're not anecdotal, they're definitely recorded, and you can see that these products work. One of the challenges with aging, I mentioned on a slide earlier, why are we aging? Well, the problem that we have is there's a reduced number of redox signaling molecules produced in our body after the age of puberty. So these, when we have a reduced number of these molecules being produced in the mitochondria or the power plant, then we age more significantly because there's imbalances and deficiencies in communication, which means cells can't repair themselves and they're not replaced as effectively. So that's one of the challenges. You can see too the broad range of application of ASEA's technology, for example, the before and after with sunburn. Of course, with men, particularly the cleanser in the Redox skincare range with men as a shaving foam is divine, I've been told. And you can see the before and after here with creping of the skin under the arm. This is over 21 days to up to 28 days. And you can see before and after again with this skin condition. And you can see before and after on this gentleman's hand. There are so many testimonials and stories out there. So be sure to connect with the person who invited you on tonight so you can hear more, learn more, and see for yourself. But nothing beats getting on the product and taking those photographs to get your own results. You can see too, this poor lady, after 2 years of diets, treatments, specialists, and expensive medications, you can see that she was still heavily affected by this condition. And her after photographs, 2 months later, you can see a massive reduction in, thankfully, in what she's been suffering with here. Here's another image of the effectiveness of these molecules. For example, this is a lumpectomy and radiation of the left breast before application of Renew 28, 10-minute intervals. Actually, 10 minutes after Redox Gel was applied twice to the left breast. You can see the remarkable decrease in the redness, swelling, inflammation there. Same with the left hand image, 3 Redox Gel applications 3 minutes apart and waiting 8 minutes. So you can't fake these scans. This is real stuff and it's helping people substantially around the world, thankfully. If you're an athlete, if you like to keep active in general, then you'll be pleased to hear that these molecules are helping athletes and people at the cellular level with their vitality, performance, endurance, and stamina all across the world, from gold-winning Olympic athletes down to the strongest man in the UK and all sorts of athletes. If you want to find out more, go to athletes.aseaglobal.com. So really, ASEA, the company, have been able to corner the market when it comes to cellular health from the outside in and from the inside out. So if you're after that competitive edge and faster recovery, certainly check out ASEA. So I'm going to get back to this diagram because once we can restore that function through the communication being enhanced with redox signaling molecules based on replenishing the supply that we have that's diminished in all of us after puberty in particular, you can see then we've got a situation where the cell structure and function's healthier and we can get some nutrition back into our cells that wasn't able to successfully get into the cells before. So this leads to ASEA combining the highest quality ingredients that's out there when it comes to a nutritional line to be able to help get the right nutrition, the right materials in the cell. Because redox molecules, they actually don't have nutritional value. They provide labor that detects, protects, and rejuvenates cells, allowing nutrients or the materials that nourish the body to be used properly by the cells. So the right nutrition has to be in the cells for redox molecules to be able to maximize them and get them to work. And a way to remember this is the labor on a building site. So the contractors, the builder themselves, all the subbies, everybody, they're actually reading the DNA blueprints, they're pushing the genetic buttons, they're starting the mitochondria, for example, to produce these molecules in the cell. But a foundation and our health in general, it's really only as good as the materials that we supply to our body. So you can build an amazingly expensive house with poor materials, and the house is still going to be not a great project after all, and who knows where that might end up. So hopefully you got the point. Anyway, this sort of completes the picture you can see from the inside out with the ASEA Via Nutrition range. I'll talk a little bit about in a minute, and from the outside in with the Redox skincare range. So having a look at ASEA Via, they have a dense superfood, whole food micronutrient product with 24 nutrient dense superfoods. So these are foods that have a high concentration of vitamins and minerals and really high quality micronutrients with a whole bunch of other things in there that really help to provide great nutrition to our cells. I was talking about that brain gut connection earlier. So a lot of people's guts are diminished in prebiotics and probiotics. ASEA's gone to the extent of studying this extensively. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on research every year for their technology, their product range in research. They have come up with Biome, which is, I take this religiously before bed every single night. I've now been able to eat products, dairy products, for example. I have never been able to eat before in my entire life thanks to this product. So there's 16 different strains of a probiotic, a prebiotic called fructooligosaccharides, and marshmallow root that helps to line the GI tract, our gastrointestinal tract, to protect that. They've also come up with Life Max, which contains 16 distinctive phytonutrients. Astragalus and Gotu Kola are adaptogenic herbs that help with stress and also anti-aging. So this is a lifestyle cellular specifically designed at the cellular level to help our cells divide and do all sorts of amazing things I'll talk to you about in just a second. And then a premium omega-3, ASEA Via Omega, which is a supplement for cardiovascular and brain support. In Australia, last year, the top 2 leading causes of death are cardiovascular and actually death from Alzheimer's and dementia, which is typically an acute condition that happens when they pass away with those with people who are damaged with their cognitive function with their brains. It's usually the immune system that usually is depressed that gets them at the end of the day. But it's really important for us to not be a statistic and to supplement with the right omega-3 supplement. So they provide nutrient building blocks or the materials that work synergistically with these molecules. So support cellular health. Yet again, ASEA is really only concerned about cellular health. It regulates healthy cell division and longevity. You don't want unhealthy cell division happening in your body, at least not for an extended period of time. It helps the cells to assimilate vitamins and minerals from a special proprietary enzyme blend called BioVia. Just means that you're not going to be peeing out useless and expensive products that aren't doing the job in your body, because the molecules and the way these products have been combined and formulated, it maximizes the absorption or bioavailability of taking these nutrients into our body for its use. Soothes the digestive system, aids in mental well-being, promotes healthy brain function, healthy immune system, which is really important, helps to support healthy inflammatory response. You may recall inflammation is one of the issues, particularly when it's chronic, that really has a profound impact of damaging our cells. It supports a healthy metabolism and cardiovascular health, as well as another added layer of defense when it comes to antioxidant activity and making sure that those free radicals are both activated by the redox, but then also destroyed as a second line of defense through the improved antioxidant activity through these products. as I mentioned, help to reduce stress levels. So if you're on this webinar and you're someone you know is interested in taking a proactive approach to health, may you never know what you've prevented, then this technology, this product range is certainly worth looking into and getting on. So correct expectations important. If you're going to drink a bottle of ASEA and expect a miracle with some of those photographs, for example, or any miracle in your life, if you've had a challenge for many years and you think it's going to go away with one bottle, I'm sorry, it's not going to do that. And here's a study where it's been shown that over 3 months, 90% of participants noticed a significant difference in their health thanks to starting on ASEA's products. ASEA's products, because the molecules are native, they work 100% of the time in 100% of the people. It just takes sometimes 3 months for people to actually notice that themselves. Here's a case in point. For example, this before and after photograph of only 5 applications of Renew 28 in the one morning. This lady is actually a beautician herself. And so you can see that was dramatically quick from one application. And after 7 months of ASEA. So you could imagine if this lady had have given up after a bottle or just had one application of the gel, for example, she wouldn't certainly be in this situation after 7 months. That if that was me, it would certainly be worth waiting for. So give the technology time to do the job it's meant to do, and give this gift to your body so it can be in the best state of health and vitality that perhaps you've ever been in. So once I took and understood that missing piece of the puzzle when it came to cellular health, with that paradigm shift and knowing ASEA really is the missing piece for me, then I realized I needed to take charge of my financial abundance. And it's because I mentioned when I was in the chiropractic clinics, I was stuck in an office all day in a chair, and you know, it's not my thing. So I really wanted to extend the walls of the chiropractic clinics out to the globe and be able to make a living whilst making a difference. So if you're someone who doesn't like to be trapped in life and really has an entrepreneurial urge stirring within you, really check this out, because there's so many people who've had really remarkable stories as a result of joining with ASEA. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But it's really, I believe, about living your life your way, which we were all born and designed to be able to do. It simply just comes down to the choices we make and the decisions we make that can change the entire course of our lives. And don't play small either, because each and every one of us have our own unique talents and gifts and message to share with the world. We can certainly do a much more profound job of helping people when we can do that on a larger scale. Playing small doesn't serve anybody. I knew I needed to be an example as well. I couldn't just tell people what to do and not take the technology myself, for example. My story, I took the technology, I've been on it now for 6 years. I took it initially with proactive health, meaning I was doing great. I had a thyroid challenge that had been there all my life, but I always said I was doing great. I had no health challenges because it didn't really bother me. I just had a swollen gland all the time that I just got used to and I didn't even see. And after probably 3.5, 4 years, I didn't even notice. But one day I reached down and I realized it's not swollen anymore, and it's whatever has been there my whole life, it's gone. So anyway, that's my story. And I just feel really grateful that I've been in a position long term as I head into my 50s and beyond to know that that situation has thankfully been taken care of. And the company really had to measure up as well. This was completely critical for me because I needed to definitely find and align myself with the company where we had aligned values as well. So it was a matter of me looking into ASEA, the company. Is it a company that I could trust, that I could partner with and know that they were going to be there for the long run, that they weren't going to do anything silly or stupid to compromise me, that they were going to be able to really support all of us to be able to be the best versions that we can be of ourselves so that we can serve more and also get paid for the value we're adding to people's lives in a really much bigger way. Thanks to these two gentlemen, ASEA's founders, Tyler and I should say Vertus, father and son, Tyler Norton, this company has the most integrity when it comes to the people than I have ever seen anywhere else in my life. I'm not just saying that as lip service. watch the ASEA Genesis video and get an idea for yourself about this company and these people. They went to the extent, which you could imagine I liked, where they said no to Big Pharma, who were desperate and still to this day are desperate to own this technology. And the situation that happened at the time is these two gentlemen, they're not network marketing professionals, no background in that regard at all. In fact, big business was their background. Vertus was the VP of strategy at Kraft Food, which was a $37 billion company. He's a master strategist and sought after globally because of his skills and his business acumen. And Tyler had spent over 9 years as in an executive VP position in the financial industry. So when they were able to stabilize this technology, it doesn't taste fabulous. It doesn't taste, I can't even taste it at all. But some people say it doesn't taste fabulous. And so they thought, gee, will people drink this? And so what had happened, and I'll get back to this Big Pharma story in a minute, they got it out to 40 people, and 6 of those people were in a serious health crisis that needed particular attention. And after 2 months, they had discovered that this technology had gone out, these molecules, ASEA, had gone out to 135 people across 20 countries. And so when they met with a pharmaceutical company in Salt Lake City, the company said, we will give you, here you go, here's a check. It was enough for them to live comfortably and for generations to come, their family comfortably. But the condition was they had to take everyone off the technology. And they quite frankly said, we're not going to do that. We're not going to go for the money. We're going to choose the people. So they turned that down and then realized that the best and most effective way to get this technology out to the world was through word of mouth marketing, through the network marketing business model. And lots of people do network marketing every day, but only some people get paid for it. It's a very natural and honest system that's full of integrity when it comes to the trust you can build with people and what you can actually show people when it comes to this product range. We're in great hands with ASEA. They're also financially stable, which is really important to know. They've done well over $800 million in the past 10 years in sales. They've been debt-free since the 7th month in operation. So during the interesting year we've had so far this year, they have just gone from strength to strength because they've been fully abundant with their financial structure, and they haven't had to, they haven't been in a position where they've had to compromise. In fact, the company's grown substantially through this time because of the profound effect of the technology. They've handed out over $250 million in commissions. They own their own manufacturing facility, which is important to know because you want to be able to have control over your quality. You outsource manufacturing, you lose quality control, and that can be an issue because associates sometimes in other companies, for example, can't stand behind the diminishing quality of the products, and it can cause implosion. They also distribute from 19 centres globally. They're currently in 33 countries and growing, which I'll share with you in a second. And this production facility here in Salt Lake City, Utah, Pleasant Grove actually, it is already able to provide a capacity or cater to almost $1 billion in production. So they're well and truly prepared for the growth that's coming. The business model, as I said, it made sense to me. I just had to get over myself, which took a little bit of time, but I'm so glad that I did, because the last 21 years of my life certainly would have been significantly different. And I just feel so grateful to be in the position that I'm in today. Here's a chart just to show you, if you're not aware of how ineffective some forms of marketing is in actual fact. This is a report from 2015. Oops. But you can see that word of mouth marketing is by far the most effective form of marketing out there. TV, radio, I don't know about you, but I can't stand advertisements. I don't watch TV. I don't listen to radio. Goes off if an ad comes on. So certainly we're in the best position to be able to get the word out about this technology and change our lives financially. As I said, 33 countries with 16 languages actually supported, and they've recently opened in Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, Philippines, and Malaysia, where the company is absolutely exploding. It starts off really easy. You talk to people, they talk to somebody who talks to somebody. All of a sudden, you've got an American distribution leg of your business. You've got an Asian distribution leg of your business. You've got a European distribution leg. It just catches on like wildfire when it comes to people telling people telling people. And it's just amazing how quickly it can potentially grow. And it also rewards you in over 8 ways of being paid from this form of marketing. I don't know about you, but I certainly didn't get paid 8 different ways when I had the chiropractic clinics, and nor when I was an employee for the pharmaceutical company. So then I realized, okay, the company checked out and the product was profound. I knew that. And I realized, well, how do I make a real difference to the lives of others? And that comes down to one simple formula. It depends on how much value you are going to add to the life of somebody else. Now, there's a lot of people who love their jobs, and that's fantastic. There's a lot of people who are miserable in their jobs. They've got those food addictions. They're just getting through the day. They take a holiday to escape their lives, not to add value or enjoyment to their lives. And it can be in a situation where people are paying bills, they can't get off this treadmill, and sometimes they just don't know how to. And that's where we come in, because we've read the writing on the outside of the box. We know what we have our hands on. It's not my job to push anything on anyone. We don't have to. There's no convincing when you look at the quality of the technology we've got and also the quality of the company. So it's simply sharing what we know and offering an opportunity, if people want to get off that treadmill, to have a look at something that may profoundly change their lives and help them get out of maximum job security. Where I know my husband says this all the time, but your job often is only as secure as your employer's mood. And I know there's been real restructuring globally right now when it comes to what's been happening in the world. A lot of people no longer have the stability that they had when it comes to their career, their jobs. So I firmly believe it's really important, regardless of where you're at in your life, to have a plan B, to have a backup plan. So time and money freedom, if that's something that you're interested in thinking about or looking into seriously, then please take a look at ASEA so you can make an educated decision on that. I keep doing stupid, silly things with this mouse. So timing is everything. And ASEA is definitely on the move. They've been building over the last 10 years, gradually. They started to spike last year. They've laid the foundation. The pioneers in the beginning have the arrows in the back. They helped to move this forward. Salt Lake City, salt water from Salt Lake City type of stuff. So now the foundation's been laid. It's secure, it's solid, it's not going anywhere, and it's been provided to us basically on a plate to go and create what it is that we want in relation to what we want out of our lives moving forward. They are heading toward $500 million in annual sales in 2025. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that they won't get there. They will. And when you particularly understand and find out a bit more about what's going on in Asia, you'll understand this is a very real reality. I know I've spoken a lot about different things, obviously, tonight, and I've mentioned the word truth a few times, because when you make the next step, whether it is to find a plan B or replace your current income, make sure that it's aligned with your values. Make sure you know what you're saying yes to, and make sure what you're saying no to. This business model is not for everybody. It certainly is a vehicle for everybody, should they choose to see it and put themselves aside often and stand out of their own way, like I eventually did. It's a profound vehicle that I truly hope you discover for yourself, because it is a missing piece of the future that got here early, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to, we need it right now. We need it right now because of the compromised situation ourselves are in, and we need it right now to be able to take charge of our lives financially so that we can live the life that we deserve by our design and help those around us, more importantly than anything else. So step 3 is really, it's about making a decision. Once you find your truth in ASEA, don't sit on the fence. If it's a go for you, then take action, because you'll find, and it doesn't take long. Really, it took me watching 2 videos, the ASEA Genesis video and a product quick draw video, and I went, I got this. I understand it. I got it. Just had to get out of my own way, as I said, but that personal responsibility kicks in. And don't make a decision to play small. Just go share what you found out with other people and create create your own destiny through the platform that we've been given, as I've said, to really go out there and shine. So people make a decision to, and everyone really, if you're interested in the technology, get on it. Your cells are diminished of these molecules. Start being a consumer, be a product of the product. As I said, the plan B, I think, is essential, particularly now more than ever. Start to earn some extra money, without changing what you're currently doing. Or if you're like my husband and I, and you see this and you absolutely know that you want to take this to the world in a big way, then you can develop an entrepreneurial ASEA lifestyle income as well. It's just dependent upon your story and what you want in your life and what you're able to do time-wise right now. But just remember, you can start this without changing what you're currently doing. It's so easy to become a member with ASEA. It's almost ridiculous when it comes to setting up a business for as little as 60 Australian dollars. I can tell you the chiropractic clinic certainly did not cost that. It was a heck of a lot of work, and it paid off, but it was restrictive and it added a lot of value, but it was definitely stressful when it came to employees, when it came to making sure that when you've got locum coming into your business whilst you go away for a holiday, will you come back to a practice that has patients there? You get where I'm going. This is an extremely low barrier of entry. Become a member. They've got amazing promotion right now. This may sound like ridiculous, but in the 6 years that I've been with ASEA, this isn't lip service, I'm not making this up. This is by far the best promotion ASEA has ever run. It's profound. There has never been a better time to get on these products and to be an associate with ASEA. This promotion ends in Australia on the 31st. And so it also involves free shipping, loyalty reward points where you can get the free product, and up to 25% discount on placing the second order. So if you've been thinking about getting on the products, do it before the 31st, because I've never seen anything like this before in the 6 years I've been with ASEA. Just a quick recap. I mentioned earlier ASEA invests heavily in research. Here are some of the amazing companies that you can research yourself that ASEA has partnered with for these independent studies. And as I mentioned before, ASEAScience.com. You can also experience relief with the gel in less than 10 minutes by identifying an area of discomfort. You've got to shake the gel, apply it 3 times in 5 minutes, then wait 5 minutes, and on a scale of 1 to 10 in the beginning, I should say, rate your discomfort and then go back and rate it. Just give it a go. Just try it, and you'll be amazed at what results you'll get. Just know if you're going to jump on the internet, Google's a search engine. It's not a research engine. So if you're truly interested in doing due diligence, go to the right place, and that's scholar.google.com or pubmed.gov, where you can enter in redox signaling molecules, or you can enter in particular health challenges to see what the results, the scientific study with redox signaling molecules and challenges, any challenge that you can think of, you put in there. So go to the right place is basically the message here. So I've talked about the technology, I've talked about the company and how profound it is, I've talked about finding your truth. Maybe you have a mission and you have a cause. Think about, what do you stand for? Are you ready to take the 4 walls of your office, if you're in an office, and expand it out across the globe? This is a safe place to do that. If you've ever had a deep desire where you truly want to make a difference to the lives of other people, then I encourage you seriously to take a look at ASEA, because I know from my own personal experience that there is a home for ASEA for all of us. And if you've got a mission and a cause, there's a phenomenal opportunity for you to fulfill that through ASEA. Maybe when we get back to traveling, you want to travel more with family, or maybe it's just something as simple as not waking up to an alarm clock every day. I can't even remember the last time I woke up to an alarm clock. If I need more sleep, I go back to bed. Maybe you want to spend more time working from home with a global business and be with your family. Maybe it's growth. Maybe you're interested in growth. Yeah, it can be scary, but so worthwhile. Public speaking. I was absolutely petrified of public speaking when I started in this profession. I still got a long way to go, but I'm excited that I've grown, and I'm proud of myself that I can actually get up there and talk now without all the other issues that happened beforehand that I used to have, like not wanting to get up there at all. Anyway, maybe you just want to feel better and look younger and celebrate life more with being on with your mission, with being on purpose in your life. I meant to say, being debt-free is a really fun position to be in. It may sound like something insignificant, but I don't have to bitch and complain to my husband about putting the air conditioner or the heater on because of the bills coming up. Or I can walk into a store now, and thankfully, because of ASEA, I can buy anything I want if I choose to do that. I just feel liberated and know that being able to add value and being remunerated for doing good in the world is so much of a better position than what I was doing with my first corporate career. And it feels good. And it's our birthright to be financially abundant, because we can help more people. We're in a stronger position financially. And if you're already in a strong position financially, this will just add so much, another level of influence to your life, which you'll be rewarded for. Maybe you want to give back. ASEA has a profound foundation called the Advancing Life Foundation, where they've been able to build, along with the corporate team being in the trenches in Ecuador, building a vocational centre. They also heavily support Operation Underground Railroad. Child sex slavery, there's over 2 million child sex slaves in the world today. It's probably a lot bigger than that. ASEA also, with their foundation, they fund rescue missions, they fund rehabilitation centres, and they fund dogs, the training of dogs that go and sniff out pornography. And it's really a wonderful way to be able to give back. And ASEA, this isn't lip service, this is their heart, this is what they truly love and believe in. And there's an opportunity for us to go on journeys to these places with the company and experience these projects firsthand, and the people that truly will change your lives. So the only person you're destined to become is the person that you decide to be. And as much as we like to think that life happens to us, it happens for us, and it's simply a decision moving forward. This is one that really impacts me. I don't think there's a heavier burden than an unfulfilled potential, because I truly, truly believe there's a spark in each of us, and every single one of us, that needs to get out there. People need to hear your specific voice. They need to benefit from your gifts. And for me, I definitely am not dying with unfulfilled potential. So I'd encourage you not to do the same. So what if you can change your life through ASEA, as my husband Bart and I have done? This is, of course, Virtus. We've been on an amazing journey with ASEA, with trips that I couldn't even imagine, to countries that I never even thought I'd ever visit. We've been able to really celebrate living a free life and a great lifestyle, and we have fun and we play, and we can do it on our own terms and our own time frame. And this isn't to show off, it's basically just to say, excuse me, if you want more out of life, there's certainly a platform for you to be able to create that by making a decision through ASEA. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been truly an honor to be able to be here with you tonight, and I thank you for your time. I want to reiterate that ASEA is a safe place. It's a stable place. It's a family for so many of us who've found our homes for the first time in our lives. I'd love to meet you if you make a decision to join ASEA, but either way, you're going to leave this webinar and make a decision. If you want more out of life, don't sit on the fence, and really take a look at this. So thank you for your time, and look forward to catching up with you soon. I'll just stop the recording.